I want you to imagine something for a second. You meet someone new. They're charming, they're kind, they make you laugh, they seem like everything you've been waiting for. But over time, something starts to feel off. That charm, it starts to feel like manipulation. The kindness, it starts to feel like control. And the love, well, it starts to feel like a trap. Today, we're going to talk about the fine line between what seems like the perfect man and what might actually be a human demon disguised in the form of love. Yes, I said it, a human demon. And I know it sounds extreme, but sometimes the most dangerous people wear the sweetest masks. They say the devil is in the details, and that's exactly what we're going to uncover together. By the end of this talk, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to protect your peace, and how to recognize when someone's love is nothing but a well-crafted lie. So, let's dive into the 5 signs you might be dealing with someone who's more monster than man. Because your happiness, your peace, your future, they matter more than any charming smile or sweet talk ever will. Charm is often seen as a desirable quality. We associate it with charisma, confidence, and warmth traits that can make someone appear genuinely likable, even magnetic. When we meet someone charming, it feels effortless to connect with them. They know how to make us feel seen, appreciated, and special. But while charm can certainly create moments of connection and joy, it can also be a mask that hides something far darker. Beneath that charm, there can be an insidious force control. The manipulation of others through charm is an art form. It's not overt or harsh, but subtle, often so smooth that we don't recognize it for what it is until it's too late. A charming person might seem like the embodiment of kindness and empathy, but this is often only a facade designed to lure you in and make you trust them. Once they've established that trust, they can begin to influence your thoughts, actions, and feelings in ways that feel completely natural, even loving. You may find yourself agreeing with them more, reshaping your boundaries to accommodate their desires, or even doubting your own judgment because their words carry such weight. It's not because they are inherently evil, it's because they have learned how to control a situation through their charming persona. Charm used as a tool of control works by first making the target feel important, valued, and seen in ways they may not have experienced before. Imagine someone walks into your life, someone who listens to you in a way that feels different. They remember small details, acknowledge your vulnerabilities, and offer compliments that seem sincere. At first, this is flattering. It feels like you've met someone who genuinely cares, someone who gets you. But as time goes on, the compliments and attentiveness may become more pointed, more frequent. Every conversation is filled with affirmations that validate you, but as much as these words boost your self-esteem, they also start to subtly shape your perspective in ways that align more with their desires than your own. This is where the manipulation begins. The charming person knows exactly what to say to make you feel safe, to make you feel like you're in the right hands. They have learned how to navigate emotions, to read the room, and to mirror your energy to make you feel as though you've found a soulmate or an ideal partner. But this mirroring isn't genuine, it's a carefully constructed act. By mirroring your thoughts and feelings, they create a sense of connection that feels deeper than it truly is. You begin to feel like they are the one person who truly understands you, the one person who has your best interests at heart. And because their charm is so disarming, you don't realize that they are controlling the narrative, directing your choices, and gently guiding you into their worldview. This is the critical difference between genuine charm and charm used as a tool for control. A genuinely charming person makes you feel seen and heard because they care about you as an individual. They offer their warmth and attention without any expectation of reciprocity. However, when charm is used manipulatively, it creates a sense of obligation, even though you may not realize it at first. You begin to feel as though you owe them something because they have given you so much attention, so much affection. This feeling of indebtedness is subtle, but it's powerful. It makes it more difficult to set boundaries, to say no, or to question the relationship because the charm has already disarmed your natural defenses. It's easy to be swept up in the idea that someone who is charming is someone who is trustworthy. After all, why would someone go out of their way to be kind and considerate if they weren't genuine? This is where the danger lies, because charm isn't always a reflection of authenticity. It's not about who the charming person truly is, but about how they use their persona to navigate and control social situations. When used in a manipulative way, charm becomes a weapon. It's a tool for gaining influence, subtly bending your reality to align with theirs. As the relationship deepens, this dynamic becomes more entrenched. The charming person starts to introduce small manipulations into the conversation. They might subtly undermine your confidence by casting doubt on your decisions or questioning your judgment. They could offer unsolicited advice that begins to chip away at your self-esteem, all while still showering you with affection and praise. These mixed signals are confusing and often make you second-guess yourself. You may begin to wonder if their advice is really for your benefit or if it's just a way to keep you dependent on their approval. The charm that initially drew you in now becomes a trap, because every compliment, every kind gesture seems to come with an underlying condition: your compliance. One of the most dangerous aspects of this manipulation is how it slowly erodes your sense of self. At the beginning, you might feel liberated by the attention and affection, but as it continues, you begin to lose touch with your own desires, needs, and boundaries. You may stop trusting your instincts because the charming person has taught you to rely on their judgment instead. In their eyes, you might be told you need them to thrive, that their influence is key to your happiness and success. The charm that once felt so comforting now feels like a leash, subtly pulling you closer to their version of reality without you even realizing it. Another method often employed by those who use charm as a means of control is creating a false sense of dependency. This is often achieved by encouraging emotional vulnerability while offering reassurance that they are the only one who truly understands you. They might constantly remind you of how they've saved you in some way or made your life better by being in it. This reinforces the idea that you need them in your life, that your worth and happiness are tied to their presence and approval. What starts as a healthy emotional connection can turn into emotional dependency, where you begin to second-guess your own independence and question your ability to function without their input or guidance. Over time, this dynamic creates a power imbalance that is hard to shake. The charming person becomes the center of your world, and their control becomes more entrenched. You might start to feel guilty when you try to take back your independence, or you may feel as though you're being disloyal or ungrateful for questioning their motives. They may even use the very charm that drew you in to make you feel that any doubt or criticism is unreasonable, that they only want what's best for you. They know exactly how to twist the narrative so that any concerns you have are dismissed as overreactions or misunderstandings. The charm keeps you off balance, always questioning whether you're in the right and whether you can trust your own perception of reality. Charm, when used as a means of control, works because it preys on our basic human need for connection. We all want to feel valued, understood, and loved, and someone who can meet these needs in an intense and fulfilling way can create an emotional bond that feels unbreakable. However, when charm is used manipulatively, it transforms into a tool of power. It exploits your vulnerabilities, plays on your desires, and rewires your sense of self-worth so that you come to depend on the charmer's approval, all while they remain the one pulling the strings from behind the scenes. This kind of manipulation is subtle enough that it can take a long time to realize what's happening. By the time you recognize the pattern, you may feel too deeply invested or too emotionally entangled to break free easily. The charm has done its job. It has made you believe that the manipulator's intentions are pure, that their care for you is genuine, and that questioning them would be a betrayal of the bond you've built. It can make you feel weak for doubting them or foolish for questioning something that, on the surface, looks so perfect. But underneath the charm, there's often a much darker reality, one in which you are not being cared for as an equal partner, but controlled, subtly and slowly, by someone who has mastered the art of manipulation. Understanding this dynamic is the first step in protecting yourself from it. Charm, in its purest form, is not inherently harmful. It's only when it's used with ulterior motives that it becomes dangerous. Recognizing that charm can be a disguise for control doesn't mean you need to become suspicious of everyone you meet. It means understanding that charm, while powerful, is not a guarantee of good intentions. It's simply a tool, one that can be used for both good and ill. The key lies in learning to discern when charm is being used to build a genuine connection and when it's being used to control, manipulate, or distort your reality for someone else's benefit. Sweet words have an almost magical quality to them. They soothe us, comfort us, and create feelings of warmth and connection. A kind compliment, a thoughtful message, or a gentle reassurance can make our hearts flutter, lifting our spirits in ways that nothing else can. We all crave words of affirmation, especially when they come from someone we trust or care about. But what happens when those sweet words don't match the person saying them? What happens when the intent behind them isn't pure, but instead designed to manipulate or control? Sweet words can be disarming. They can create a false sense of safety and trust, making us believe that the person speaking them has our best interests at heart. It's easy to be swayed by flattering words, to feel special, to feel seen in a way we might not have experienced before. But words, like actions, are not always what they seem. There is a crucial distinction between someone using sweet words to express genuine affection or care and someone using them to serve their own hidden agendas. Unfortunately, this is often difficult to spot, especially when we are caught up in the moment or when those words are coming from someone we've let into our hearts. There's a simple truth we often overlook. Words are cheap. They can be spoken with little effort and can be shaped to say almost anything, regardless of what someone truly feels or intends. Sweet words are easy to give, and they can be crafted with precision to make the recipient feel adored, cherished, or even admired. But just because someone can say the right thing at the right time doesn't mean their intentions are pure. People can say things that sound nice, that feel right, without any real commitment or sincerity behind them. They may even do so with the express purpose of gaining something from you, whether that's your trust, your affection, or your compliance. The power of sweet words is not in their beauty, but in their ability to deceive. When someone speaks sweet words, it creates a sense of emotional intimacy. We begin to believe that the speaker understands us, cares for us, or values us in ways that no one else does. These words make us feel special, important, and seen. However, sweet words can also be a tool for manipulation. When someone speaks them with an ulterior motive, the intention behind those words is to lead you down a particular path, one that benefits them. The problem is that those words feel so good, so validating, that we often don't question them, even when we should. Consider a situation where someone is constantly showering you with compliments, telling you how amazing you are, how beautiful, smart, or talented you are. They might say things like, "You're one of a kind," or "I've never met anyone like you before." It feels wonderful, doesn't it? We all like to hear that we are unique, or that we have something special that others admire. But what happens when the compliments feel too constant, too insistent? What happens when they start to feel less like genuine praise and more like a strategy to keep you hooked? When someone's sweet words are not backed up by actions that align with what they're saying, it's a red flag. Compliments can easily be used to create a sense of dependency or to put someone on a pedestal where they hold the power. The person delivering the sweet words may be trying to create a psychological dynamic where you begin to believe that your value is defined by how they see you, rather than your own internal sense of worth. This might seem harmless at first, but over time, the effect is insidious. You may start to rely on their words for validation, needing their approval to feel good about yourself. And once they know they have that power over you, the relationship dynamic shifts. They are no longer speaking to build you up, but to keep you in their grasp. It's important to recognize that sweet words, when used manipulatively, often come in a cycle of praise and criticism. This dynamic is particularly common in toxic or emotionally abusive relationships. The manipulator might shower you with affection and compliments one moment, only to undermine you the next. They might say things like, "You're so perfect when you're happy," followed by a cutting remark that makes you doubt yourself or feel inadequate. By keeping you off balance with alternating praise and criticism, they ensure that you remain emotionally invested in their approval. The sweet words make you feel good, but the underlying criticism makes you feel like you have to earn that approval to prove that you are worthy of the compliments they give you. Sweet words can also be used to mask bad behavior. In relationships, this often happens when someone consistently says the right things but never follows through with meaningful actions. They might tell you they love you, that they care about your well-being, that they are committed to making things work, but their actions tell a different story. They might repeatedly break promises, ignore your needs, or even engage in behaviors that hurt you, emotionally or physically. But because they continue to say all the right things, you find yourself making excuses for them. They really do love me, you might tell yourself. They just have a lot going on right now. But deep down, you know that their actions aren't matching their words. However, because they keep telling you how much they care, you are made to feel guilty for questioning them. The sweet words create a sense of doubt, making it difficult to hold them accountable for their behavior. Sometimes, sweet words are used to create a sense of obligation. This can happen in both personal and professional relationships. For example, a person might frequently compliment you on your work, your appearance, or your personality, all with the goal of getting something in return. These sweet words are meant to make you feel appreciated, but they also set the stage for you to feel obligated to reciprocate. You may feel like you owe them something, like you need to meet their expectations or do something for them in return for their kind words. It's a form of emotional manipulation that can be hard to spot, especially if the person is skilled at masking their true intentions. They want you to feel indebted to them, and by constantly flattering you, they put you in a position where it becomes difficult to say no or set boundaries without feeling guilty. In relationships of power or influence, sweet words can be particularly dangerous. Leaders, mentors, or authority figures may use flattery to gain trust and loyalty from those they oversee. The sweet words they offer may seem innocent or even benevolent, but they are often strategically timed to secure your loyalty, compliance, or allegiance. This is common in manipulative work environments or cult-like situations where leaders use praise and affection to create a bond with followers or subordinates. The goal is to ensure that their power is never questioned, that their control remains unchallenged. They may tell you how much they value your contributions, how special you are to them, or how essential you are to their success. But in truth, they are using sweet words to keep you hooked and dependent on their approval. One of the most insidious ways sweet words are used is in situations of gaslighting. In gaslighting, the manipulator twists reality to make the victim doubt their own perception of events. This might involve consistently telling someone, "You're overreacting," or "That never happened." Alongside these negative statements, however, the gaslighter may shower the victim with sweet words to create confusion and keep them emotionally invested. They might say, "I love you more than anyone else could," or "You're the only person who truly understands me." These words make the victim feel emotionally dependent on the abuser, ensuring that they stay in the toxic relationship and continue to question their own sense of reality. Sweet words are also a key tool in what's known as love bombing, a tactic often used in narcissistic relationships. Love bombing occurs when someone overwhelms the target with excessive praise, affection, and attention early in the relationship. This creates an intense emotional bond, making the recipient feel as though they have found their soulmate or the perfect partner. But love bombing is a manipulative tactic designed to create dependency. Once the target is emotionally invested, the manipulator will begin to withdraw the affection, leaving the victim feeling confused and desperate for the validation they once received. The sweet words they gave in the beginning were never meant to be sincere. They were designed to secure control over the target's emotions. In all of these situations, Sweet words are used as tools to influence, manipulate, or control. They are meant to create emotional dependency, confuse the target, and prevent them from recognizing the manipulative behavior beneath the surface. While sweet words can certainly be an expression of genuine love and affection, they can also be a carefully crafted weapon used to deceive and gain power over someone. It's crucial to learn to differentiate between words that are meant to build you up and words that are meant to pull you in, only to keep you tethered to someone who has ulterior motives. At the end of the day, sweet words are just that, words. They have the power to lift us up, but they also have the power to lead us astray. Recognizing when sweet words are not backed by pure intentions is key to protecting yourself from emotional manipulation and controlling behavior. Words, no matter how sweet, should always be evaluated alongside actions. Actions speak louder than words, and if someone's words don't align with their behavior, it's time to question their true motives.